Hey everyone, welcome back to Nephrology Board Review. Today we are kicking off a brand new series called the On Call series. And the whole idea is simple. I'm going to walk you through the exact calls you'll get when you're covering the dialysis unit and exactly how to handle them step by step. We're starting with probably the most common call you'll get. The patient's blood pressure just dropped. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to ask, what to do, what not to do, and when to escalate. Let's get into it. So picture this, you are on call, your pager goes off, or more likely your phone buzzes, and you hear, "Hey, this is the dialysis unit. Mr. Johnson's blood pressure just dropped to 80 over 50. He is dizzy and nauseous. We stopped his UF. What do you want us to do?" Now, the first thing to recognize here is that the nurse has already done the right thing. They stopped the ultrafiltration. That buys you time. But now the ball is in your court. What do you do next? Before you give any orders, you need information. Here are 6 questions I ask every single time. First, what's the current blood pressure and what's the trend? Is it 80 and 50 and dropping, or was it 80 and 50 and now it's coming back up? Those are two completely different situations. Second, what's the UF rate and how much fluid has been removed so far? Compare that to their dry weight. If you already pulled 3 liters off a 60 kilo patient, that's your answer right there. Third, what was the pre dialysis blood pressure? If they came in at 90 or 60, they were already starting behind. Fourth, did they take their antihypertensives this morning? This is a huge one. A lot of patients take their blood pressure meds right before coming in for dialysis, and that's a setup for a crash. Fifth, any red flag symptoms. I'm talking about chest pain, diaphoresis, confusion. These changes your management entirely. And sixth, were they eating during hemodialysis? Postprandial blood pooling in the gut is a real and underappreciated cause of intradialytic hypotension. Once you have those answers, you can start narrowing down what's going on. Now let's talk differential. I like to think of this in 3 buckets: common, less common, and don't miss. The common causes are volume related. Excess UF rate, dry weights at too low, antihypertensives given pre HT, eating during treatment, and autonomic dysfunction, especially in your diabetic patients. Less common but still on the radar are arrhythmia, pericardial effusion, dialyzer reaction, hemolysis, and hypoglycemia. And the don't miss category. These are the ones that will get you in trouble if you don't think about them, like MI or ACS, sepsis, air embolism, and internal bleeding. Here's the key teaching point. Most cases, the vast majority are volume related. But do not anchor on that until you've ruled out the dangerous stuff. That's the mistake I see trainees make. They hear blood pressure drop during HT and immediately think volume, give saline, and move on. Don't be that person. All right, let's manage this patient. Here are your immediate actions. Step 1, Trendelenburg position, head down, legs up. This is the fastest way to improve venous return to the heart, buys you time while you figure out what's going on. Step 2, stop or reduce the UF. But here's the critical point, and I cannot stress this enough. Do not stop the blood pump. If you stop the blood pump, the blood sitting in that circuit is going to clot, and now you've got a whole new problem. UF does not mean HT off. Keep the blood moving. Just stop pulling fluid. Step 3, give a fluid bolus. Start with 100 to 250 ml of normal saline. You can repeat this up to a total of 500 ml. Most patients will respond within that range. Step 4, check a fingerstick glucose. Takes 10 seconds. Diabetic patients on insulin are at high risk for hypoglycemia during HD, and it's an easy fix if that's the cause. Now, here's your decision point. If the patient does not respond to 500 ml of saline, stop thinking volume, start thinking cardiac, sepsis, or bleeding. That's when your differential needs to broaden significantly. Step 5, recheck the blood pressure every 2 to 5 minutes. You need to document the trend. Is the patient responding to your interventions or not? Step 6, reassess symptoms. If there is chest pain, get an ECG. If there is confusion, do a focused neurocheck and recheck glucose. If they are diaphoretic, think cardiac. The workflow here is simple. Bolus, wait 2 minutes, recheck, repeat if needed, and then reassess. Keep cycling through that loop until either the blood pressure stabilizes or you've given 500 ml total and need to think differently about this. So, this is where good on call residents separate themselves from great ones, knowing when to escalate. You escalate if there is chest pain or ECG changes, activate your ACS protocol. You escalate if there is altered mental status that isn't improving. Think stroke, intracranial bleed, or sepsis. You escalate if there is no response to 500 ml of fluid. This is no longer simple volume depletion. And you escalate if there are signs of bleeding. Check the access site. Think about GI bleeding. Think about retroperitoneal hemorrhage. The bottom line, if something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust your gut and get help early rather than late. Now let's address the saline versus albumin debate because I know this comes up on the boards and in practice. Here's the evidence. Normal saline works just as well as albumin for most intradialytic hypotension. It's cheap, it's universally available, and it should be your first line of choice. Albumin has no proven benefit over saline for routine intradialytic hypotension, and it's dramatically more expensive. We are talking about a 50-fold cost difference in some cases. So reserve albumin for truly refractory cases, patients who are not responding to saline boluses, and you need something with more oncotic pull. Don't, but don't reach for it reflexly. That's a waste of resources without evidence to support it. All right, you have stabilized the patient. Great. But your job isn't done. The most important question now is how do we prevent this from happening again? Four things to address. First, reassess the dry weight. If a patient keeps crashing on dialysis, the dry weight is probably set too low. Look for signs. Are they hypotensive at the end of treatments? Any cramping? Check for edema and review their blood pressure trends over the last few sessions. Second, medication timing. This is a low hanging fruit. Hold antihypertensives on hemodialysis morning. It's simple order change that can make a huge difference. Third, control the UF rate. Try to keep it under 10 to 13 ml per kg per hour when possible. If the patient is gaining too much fluid between sessions, that's a separate conversation about fluid restriction and dietary sodium. And fourth, advice against eating during HD, or if the patient insists, stick to smaller, low carb snacks that won't cause significant mesenteric blood pooling. Let me leave you with a pearl and a pitfall. The pearl: most intradialytic hypotension is volume related. If a patient keeps crashing, the dry weight is probably wrong. Reassess it. This one fix prevents more intradialytic hypotension episodes than any other intervention. Now, the pitfall: don't reflexively reach for albumin. Normal saline works just as well for typical intradialytic hypotension and costs a fraction of the price. Save albumin for truly refractory cases. Your hospital pharmacy will thank you. All right, here's your rapid fire summary. I'd actually encourage you to pause the video right here and screenshot this slide. Put in your notes app, print it out, whatever works for you. This is your on call cheat sheet. So, blood pressure drops during hemodialysis. Here's your rapid response: 1. Friendlenberg. 2. Stop UF but keep the blood pump running. 3. Normal saline bolus, 100 to 250 ml. Repeat up to 500. 4. Finger stick glucose. 5. Recheck blood pressure every 2 to 5 minutes. Escalate if chest pain or ECG changes, no response to 500 ml, altered mental status, or signs of bleeding. Pearl: most intradialytic hypotension equals volume. Reassess that dry weight. Pitfall: don't reflexively use albumin. Saline works just as well. That's it for On Call series number 1: blood pressure drop during dialysis. Next up in the series: chest pain during hemodialysis. How to tell cardiac ischemia from a dialyzer reaction. That's a call that can really make you sweat, and I'm going to break it down for you step by step, just like we did it today. If this was helpful, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment below. Tell me what on call scenarios give you the most anxiety. I'll work those into the series. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.